Good Monday morning. I hope you're having a wonderful beginning to this holiday. Whatever your beliefs are as far as the founding of this land, I hope you are productive and give God the glory in the meantime. We are in 1Chron.6, and because today is October 14th, we went over Psalms 14 and 44 and 74 and 104 and 134. Lord had me go more in depth in Psalms 104 and had me come out in the cold to this beautiful park to be just out in nature. I'm like, why is it that and after reading this chapter, I said, this is the reason why I have to have a dose directly of his creation. It's just so beautiful, and it goes in depth as far as how he made the grass for the cattle in verse 14 and herb for the service of man. And while I was walking here, the Lord said, deal with this. I was like, what? So in a couple of months, recreational marijuana is going to be legalized here in Chicago, and I'm not sure what your position is on that, but I believe that there are going to be some fallout from that. I don't know if we've really thought it out, and I know that we have a budget deficit, but yeah. But where it says herb for the service of man, I was speaking recently to someone where they were pointing out a person who has to have weed every morning to get up and to go to bed at night. And this is where it's the misuse of nature. And of course, a lot of people say, well, herb, it's from the earth. God made it, but it's the misuse. And even in this chapter where it said, it's the next verse actually, and wine that maketh glad the heart of man. Yeah, you're right. The grapes, the vine. When I went to Europe, you saw the beautiful vineyards, and oh my goodness. And oil to make the face shine, olive oil, and bread which strengtheneth man's heart. But when we misuse what God has created. And this is, very unspoken in the church as far as how we misuse anything that can be inputted in our body. We don't talk about how we eat too much animal or overeat, and we're damaging our temple. So if we're going to talk about it all, right, of course we're not going to see cigarettes in the Bible. We don't see, what is it? Marlboro, I don't know what people smoke nowadays. Of course, we're not going to see vaping. Of course, we're not going to see any of the drugs out here and the drinking. This is why it's so important for us to have vertical relationship with the Lord. Our Creator, who made these bodies, will teach us and guide us as far as, don't drink that, don't eat that. I was sharing with my niece and my sister, and I've said this before, how it's been almost 14 and 13 years. I had a sip of wine with an Italian dish, because it was a cheese, and I was at an Italian restaurant, and they said, yes, we recommend this. And right then and there, people could say, oh, well, it was because of what you ate, or maybe it was an empty stomach. The Lord told me right then and there, that's it, Michelle. And even though it was once a year, that's it. Do not drink wine. It's not for you. Wine is a mocker. Okay. So, and I said, it's not worth it. And I had the most excruciating headache. I never have headaches, but the Lord spoke to me there. What are we to do in the meantime? We don't want any element on this earth to be a deterrent so that we cannot function and do our job. Right? In verse 23 and 22, as the sun rises, and, the lions do their work. Well, guess what? In verse 23, man goeth forth to do his job. We are to do the work. Now, what happens a lot, and my niece, someone told me, where someone lost a job because of what was in their system. And that we can think of so many people because of the elements of nature is misuse. And then before long, it becomes an addiction. And then we are lacking the abundant life that God intentionally wanted us to enjoy. So in 1Chron.6, it talks about how different families had different jobs. We know Aaron's sons in verse 49 were in charge of the altar and the burnt offerings, right? They were the priests. They were appointed all the work of the place most holy. And then we see how David appointed people in the tabernacle to sing. What is your lineage? What are you going to set forth as the work for your family? It's not going to be drug dealing. No. It's not going to be drunkards. No. We want to be able to sing unto the Lord as long as I live. That's back in Psalms 104. In whatever work we have. We want to glorify the Lord while we have our being. Our meditation is on Him, and it shall be sweet. So go to work. I got to clean the house. I got stuff to catch up. I know you do too. But let's be mindful of what we put inside our body and our output so that we glorify the Lord. Have a wonderful Columbus Day in the Lord and enjoy.